Ever feel like your garden just needs a little extra?
Yeah,
But, you know, you're not really keen on spending a fortune or using all those mystery chemicals.
absolutely. It's a common feeling.
Well, today on the deep dive, we're getting into exactly that. We're unlocking some secrets to boosting your garden's growth and health naturally.
Using simple organic fertilizers you can actually make and use right at home.
Exactly. So think of this as your practical, hands-on guide. We want you to end up with a thriving green space, the natural way.
And we've done the digging for you. We looked at a great piece from Sustainable Holly. They listed like 15 easy organic fertilizers.
Oh, wow, 15.
Yeah, and insights from California gardening, specifically on using alfalfa pellets, which are surprisingly effective.
Okay.
Plus, we checked out a Reddit discussion, real-world gardener experiences, and some solid guidance from Utah State University Extension on picking and using organic options properly.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward, really. We want to equip you, the learner, with the practical skills to make and apply these organic fertilizers.
It's not just the what to do, right? It's understanding the what, the why,
Mhm.
and definitely the how, so you can get that flourishing garden.
And yeah, fertilizer might sound a bit technical, maybe a little intimidating.
It can, yeah.
But don't worry, we're going to break it all down. Simple steps, real examples you can actually follow. So where do we start? I guess, why do plants even need this extra help?
That's the perfect place to start. Step one in our lesson today, understanding the basics. Think of your plants like little nutrient vacuums.
Huh, okay.
As they grow, putting out leaves, flowers, fruits, whatever it is you're growing, they're constantly pulling essential nutrients out of the soil.
The main ones being?
The big three you always hear about: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Yeah.
NPK.
Right, MTK. You see that on fertilizer bags.
Exactly. And over time, the soil just runs low on these, like a pantry getting empty. Fertilizers are basically how we restock that pantry.
Makes sense. And it's not just about having some NPK, is it? It's the balance that matters. I think nitrogen is mostly for the green, leafy parts.
Spot on. Nitrogen is the driver for lush leaves, strong stems, all that green growth.
Okay.
Then you've got phosphorus, or P. Think of that as the foundation builder. It's key for cell growth, root development. Really vital for seedlings getting established.
Right. Leaves need N, roots need P.
Got it. What about K, potassium?
Ah, potassium. That's your key player. For the good stuff, the flowering, the fruiting.
Okay, yeah.
But it also helps with overall plant strength, like making cell walls tougher, helping plants handle stress like drought or disease better. So you need a good mix of all three.
And we're focusing on organic fertilizers today. Why go that route specifically? What are the benefits?
Oh, there are quite a few good reasons. First, you're avoiding synthetic chemicals, which is great for you, especially if you're growing food.
And it's way better for the soil itself. Organic stuff feeds the beneficial microbes, the little critters in the soil that help plants thrive, and it doesn't harm pollinators.
Good point. These need all the help they can get.
Plus, like Sustainable Holly mentioned, it's often about using stuff you already have. Reducing waste, saving money,
Yeah.
It's a win-win-win.
Love that. Less waste, healthier soil, saves cash. Okay, I'm sold. So let's dive into our first lesson. Easy homemade liquid fertilizers. Where do we start with liquids?
Okay, step one for liquids, something super simple: rice water.
Just the water left after cooking rice?
Exactly. That starchy water has small amounts of NPK. The key things, as Sustainable Holly points out: use it fresh, let it cool completely, and no salt. Very important.
No salt. Got it.
The great thing is it's really mild. Very low risk of burning your plants or overdoing it. Just use it to water like normal.
Okay, that's super easy. Lesson 1. Save unsalted, cooled rice water. Simple liquid feed. What's next on the liquid front?
All right, lesson 2, building on that same idea. Pasta water.
Similar concept.
Pretty much. Starchy water, some nutrients, again, absolutely no salt, and let it cool down completely. If it looks really cloudy, maybe dilute it a bit, like half water, half pasta water, just to be safe.
Okay, unsalted, cooled pasta water, maybe diluted. Easy enough. What's our third liquid lesson?
Lesson 3 involves eggs, or rather, the water you boil them in.
Really?
Yeah. Once it's cooled, that water has picked up some nutrients, including calcium, which is really useful for plants.
I always just pour that down the drain.
Well, now you know. You could even just boil the empty shells in some plain water for 15-20 minutes. Cool it and use that.
Okay, so step 3. Save cooled egg boiling water or make shell tea for calcium. Brilliant. And you mentioned a spray bottle.
Yeah, Sustainable Holly had a good tip there. For any of these liquid fertilizers, using a dilution spray bottle can make applying it evenly really easy, especially for houseplants or seedlings.
Good tip. Okay, we've got 3 easy liquid fertilizer recipes now. Let's switch gears. Next big lesson. Using food scraps as solid, or sort of, slow-release fertilizers. This sounds really useful for continuous feeding.
It really is, and a classic example here, lesson 1 for solids, banana peels.
Ah, yes, I've heard about banana peels. High in potassium.
Exactly. Super high in potassium K, which we know is vital for fruits and flowers. Especially good if your soil is sandy, because potassium can wash out easily from sandy soil.
So what do we do with them? Just toss them in the garden?
You can.
Ah.
Step 1 for bananas, either just bury the peel near the base of a plant, or
Right.
chop it up and add it to your compost heap. It breaks down slowly, releasing that potassium over time.
Burying it sounds almost too simple.
It works.
Oh.
Or another method is making banana peel tea. Chop the peels, soak them in water covered, but let it breathe a bit for maybe 3 days. Strain it, dilute it like maybe 50-50 with water, and use that liquid.
Okay, multiple options for banana peels. Cool. What's our next solid fertilizer lesson?
Step 2 for solids. Coffee
Yeah.
grounds.
My caffeine addiction can help my garden. Excellent.
Yes. Used coffee grounds, after brewing, are pretty much pH neutral, and they're a decent source of nitrogen and potassium.
So you just sprinkle them around?
Yep, sprinkle them on the soil surface around your plants. You can scratch them in lightly or just leave them. They release nutrients when you water. Some folks even say they deter slugs and snails a bit.
Oh, interesting.
And pro tip, ask your local coffee shop. Many are happy to give away their used grounds for free. Loads of it.
Fantastic. Free fertilizer. Okay, what's our final solid scrap lesson?
Back to eggshells. Lesson 3 for solids.
Huh.
We used the water, now use the shells themselves.
For calcium again?
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
Rinse them, let them dry completely, then crush them up. Not into powder, just small pieces. Add them to your compost or sprinkle them directly around the base of plants, especially seedlings.
And the sharp edges.
Can help deter slugs and snails. They don't like crawling over the sharp bits. So, calcium boost and pest deterrent in one.
Okay, save, dry, crush eggshells. Got it. This is all incredibly practical. We've got liquids, we've got solids from the kitchen. What about other easily available organic stuff? Maybe not food scraps.
Good question. There are a few others. One interesting one, if you have a fish tank.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh water, fish tank water. When you do a water change, that water is full of fish waste, decomposed bits of fish food, maybe plant matter. Great nutrients. Just make absolutely sure it's fresh water only. Salt water will kill your plants.
Right, fresh water only. Good point. What else?
Wood ash from burning untreated wood is another one. It's high in potassium and it raises soil pH, so it makes soil less acidic. Use it sparingly though, just a light sprinkle. And definitely avoid using it near plants that like acidic soil, like blueberries or azaleas.
Okay, wood ash sparingly and watch the pH.
And then there's compost tea. Basically, you soak some good finished compost in water. Rainwater is ideal. Or let tap water sit out for a day to let chlorine evaporate. Soak it for maybe a day, strain it, and use the liquid. Great boost, especially for pots.
Compost tea. Sounds good. Now, you mentioned earlier California gardening was big on alfalfa pellets. That sounds less like a kitchen scrap, more like something you'd buy.
Yeah, exactly. This is a really interesting one. Alfalfa pellets, usually buy them as horse feed or rabbit feed. They're just dehydrated alfalfa grass.
And they're good fertilizer.
Surprisingly good. They're high in protein, which translates to a good nitrogen source for plants. About 16% protein, typically, plus moderate phosphorus and potassium, micronutrients, and this cool bonus, something called triacontanol.
Try a what now?
Triacontanol. It's a natural plant growth stimulant. So you get nutrients and a growth boost.
Wow, okay. How do you use them?
Several ways. You can just scatter them on the soil surface in containers or garden beds. They break down slowly, feeding over months.
Slow release. Nice.
Or you can side dress plants, putting a little trench around them and adding pellets. Or to speed things up, soak them in water, like maybe 1 part pellets to 3 parts water. They swell up into a sort of mash after a few hours, and you can mix that into the soil. It decomposes faster that way.
Soak them first. Okay. Anything specific to look for when buying them?
Yes, definitely. Make sure you get dehydrated pellets and check the ingredients. Ideally, it should just say alfalfa grass or dehydrated alfalfa meal. Avoid ones with added salts, molasses, or medications.
Got it. Pure alfalfa.
Yeah.
And you mentioned animal manure earlier too, right? Composted manure?
Right, compost manure is fantastic, but the key word is composted or aged. Fresh manure can be too strong, too hot in nitrogen, and burn plant roots.
Okay, aged manure only.
And it might contain weed seeds or even residues from medications if it's not organic. So use well-rotted, preferably organic, manure. You can mix it into beds before planting or make a manure tea similar to compost tea, handful in a bucket of water. Let it steep.
Great options there. Okay, so we have all these methods. Before we wrap up this lesson part, are there any really important best practices or things to keep in mind when using these?
Absolutely. This is crucial. First, think about soil testing. Utah State University Extension really recommends this. Testing your soil every, say, 2 or 3 years tells you what nutrients you actually need.
So you don't add stuff you already have plenty of.
Exactly. Avoids imbalances. Your local extension office can usually help you figure out how to get a soil test done.
Good advice. What else?
Remember the timing. Most organic fertilizers release nutrients slowly. Like the alfalfa pellets, California gardening, suggests applying them in fall or winter so the nutrients are ready for spring growth. It takes time for microbes to break them down.
Patience is key then.
Definitely. And watering. Water is essential to help break down organic matter and get those nutrients moving into the soil where roots can reach them. California gardening stressed this.
Right, watering activates everything.
And one more practical tip from Sustainable Holly.
Meh.
If you use mulch, like wood chips or straw,
Mm.
pull it back before you apply your fertilizer directly onto the soil. Then you can push the mulch back over.
Makes sense. Get it right to the soil level. Okay.
Yeah.
What about urine? I saw that mentioned in the Reddit discussion source. Sounds a bit weird, but
Hmm.
is it legit?
Huh? Yes, it often comes up in organic gardening circles. It's definitely a free source of nitrogen, very high in nitrogen, actually. The usual advice is to dilute it significantly, like 1 part urine to 10 parts water, maybe 1.5 for really nitrogen-hungry plants.
Diluted urine for nitrogen. Okay. People worry about like medicines or hormones in it though, right?
That concern does come up, but research generally suggests that pharmaceuticals break down pretty quickly in soil. It's maybe overblown. However, it is mostly just nitrogen. It's not balanced like compost or manure. The Reddit thread also pointed out manure is a more balanced alternative if you have access to it.
So urine, high nitrogen, free, probably safe when diluted, but not a complete fertilizer.
Got it. And some people just prefer buying a pre-mixed organic fertilizer, right? With guaranteed NPK numbers.
For sure. The Reddit poster mentioned complete organic fertilizers, or COFs. If you want that guaranteed analysis and don't want to mix things yourself, that's a valid option. But as we've seen, these homemade options can be incredibly effective and obviously much cheaper. And it's about watching your plants too, isn't it? The Reddit discussion touched on that just observing how they're growing tells you a lot.
That's perhaps the best advice of all. Pay attention. Are the leaves pale? Maybe needs nitrogen. Lots of leaves, but no fruit. Could be too much nitrogen. Maybe needs more potassium. Your plants will often show you what they need.
Excellent point. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. To summarize our deep dive today, we've really covered a lot of ground on organic fertilizers.
We sure have. From simple kitchen scraps like rice water, pasta water, coffee grounds, banana peels,
To
eggshells.
things like fish tank water, wood ash, compost tea, alfalfa pellets, and aged manure.
And we've gone through the steps, the how-to for making and using them. Liquid feeds, solid slow-release options.
The main takeaway seems to be you have tons of easy, affordable, and natural options right at your fingertips or easily sourced nearby.
Definitely. And the benefits are huge. Healthier plants, healthier soil biology, less waste going to landfill, and you save money. It's a much more sustainable way to garden.
So we really want to encourage you, our listeners, to maybe pick one or two of these methods that sound appealing and just try them out. See what works for your specific plants and your garden conditions.
Experimentation is part of the fun of gardening, right?
Absolutely. And remember, this deep dive is just one part of our ongoing project. We love digging into these practical, sustainable topics. If you found this lesson useful, please do follow us, like, subscribe. You know the drill. It really helps us keep going.
And tell us what you want to learn about next. What other gardening puzzles or sustainable living ideas should we tackle in a future deep dive? Drop your suggestions in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Oh, and just a quick heads up, sometimes we might share links to gardening tools or supplies we find useful. Some of those links could be affiliate links.
Which just means if you happen to buy something through that link, we might get a small commission at no extra cost to you. It's just one way we help support creating these deep dives.
Right. So as we finish up, maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Considering all these natural resources we've talked about, things often treated as waste, how can we maybe shift our thinking more broadly towards seeing potential in the overlooked, fostering a more, I guess, circular and sustainable approach, not just in our gardens, but in how we interact with the planet overall.
That's a great question to ponder. Food for thought, definitely.
Right.